is the single most important factor in improving situations for LGBT people in schools? Schools are responsible for providing a safe learning environment for all students. However, many students, especially students who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender, LGBT, school is not a safe place. Homophobic and transphobic slurs contribute to the unsafe and hostile environment that LGBT students experience. Some LGBT students choose to miss school in order to avoid negative experiences that threaten their safety. This is unacceptable. One solution to this is to have a gay-straight alliance known as GSAs in schools. These alliances can manifest themselves as clubs or events. The GLSEN, G-L-S-E-N, research brief describes GSAs as a student-led, school-based club open to all members of the student body, regardless of sexual orientation. GSAs often advocate for improved school climate, educate the larger school community about LGBT issues, and support LGBT students and their allies. End of quote. There are several benefits of GSAs. GSAs may help to make schools safer for LGBT students by sending a message that biased language and harassment will not be tolerated. Students in schools with GSAs are less likely to hear homophobic remarks such as faggot or dyke in school, and they are less likely to hear those on a daily basis than students in schools without a GSA, 57% compared to 75%, according to the research brief. This will help LGBT students feel better about themselves and fit in better in their communities, empowering them to succeed in the school environment. The same research reports that having a GSA may also make schools more accessible to LGBT students by contributing to a more positive school environment. LGBT students in schools with GSAs are less likely to miss school because they feel unsafe compared to other students. In addition, LGBT students who attend schools with a GSA are less likely than those in schools without a GSA to report feeling physically unsafe in the school because of their sexual orientation. This will help reinforce them in their academic career, as LGBT students in schools with GSAs can focus on their studies more and not have to worry as much about their safety. The GLSEN's research also reveals that GSAs may help LGBT students to identify supportive school staff, which have been shown to have a positive impact on their academic achievement and experiences in schools. LGBT students in schools with a GSA are significantly more likely than students in schools without a GSA to be aware of a supportive adult at school. This gives them an adult to talk to. LGBT students in schools with a GSA have a greater sense of belonging to their school and the school community than students without a GSA. This promotes a sense of community and helps LGBT students feel like they belong in their environment, reinforcing their identity and helping them to feel more committed to their school. However, most students lack access to GSAs or other student clubs that provide support and address issues specific to LGBT students and their allies. Less than half of all LGBT students report that their school has a GSA. They are missing the benefits. This other half of the LGBT students are not getting the supportive reinforcement nor the empowerment they need to succeed in their academic career. So today I'm joined with my sister, Jackie, who is a teacher in New Brunswick. And she's one of my heroes because way back in the early days of gay-straight alliances in schools, Jackie was really crucial in getting them going in New Brunswick. And at one point, New Brunswick was leading Canada in the most GSAs per school, per population. And Jackie was a key part of that. And she was a dynamo. She took on the premier of the province at one point, and when their GSA wanted to fly the rainbow flag, and she eventually won. And so I have some questions for you, Jackie. Why do you think it's important to have GSAs in schools?
I think GSAs are important because it gives a safe space for students that are LGBTQ or have someone in their family that actually belongs to that community. So it gives them someone to talk to and feel safe to ask questions and not be judged.
Does GSA also have a role for promoting things like activities in the school or Pride Day things? Do they play a role in that?
That depends on the school and the route that they take with it. At my school that I used to have a GSA at, we had all kinds of special events. We celebrated Pride Week, we celebrated Pansexual Day, we celebrated a variety of trans events as well. We celebrated a variety of events, including Day of Silence. That was our biggest event. And in our school, we had a little less than 2,000 people. And my final one that we did, we had over 500 students take part. So it's something that had grown from year to year to year. But I think each time that we have one of those events, it certainly spreads the word and the importance of people not judging and accepting and caring, being more caring and kind.
And how have you seen GSA help to change people's lives?
I've often had students tell me that I saved their life, and I know they didn't mean me. They mean because I had a GSA in the school, that it saved their lives. And in many, many cases, that is true. I've seen students be kicked out of their homes because they belong to this minority and not know where to go. And they've often turned to the GSA for comfort. And another GSA member's family might take them in. A GSA member's family would take them in and take them as their own. And it gave them a place to go. So that's obviously a very extreme situation, but it is one that has existed more than once in the time that I've had a GSA.
Neat. And do you find that the straight members that are joining a GSA, that it helps them to learn and grow too?
Oh, it does. GSAs help a school completely, not just the LGBT community, and I don't mean to say just, but not them and their families and so on, but it helps lessen the amount of bullying in schools overall for all minorities. So it's crucial to lessen the chance for bullying to take place, and a GSA is a great way to start doing that.
Perfect. And what advice would you have for a teacher or a student who wants to start a GSA in their school?
To not be scared. Do not be scared of being judged by your colleagues and parents and government officials and so on. To go ahead and take the step. It's a step in the right direction. In New Brunswick, making schools more inclusive for the LGBTQ community has always been a directive. And so we knew we had that support. We had the documentation behind us. But to just take the risk, go ahead and do it. That's the best advice I get. There are so many rewards and so many people that benefit from it. It's really, really important that if somebody's interested, that they go ahead and take that step.
Yeah, some of the research done in the US has shown that of all of the things that make a school safe, it could be policies, it could be having openly LGBT teachers, et cetera. Having a GSA is the #1 factor that makes the biggest difference. So thank you. Yep. Thanks, Jackie, for making such a big difference over the years. And like I said, I'm really proud of what you've accomplished. So thank you.
Thank you. And I'm very proud of what you've accomplished. That was my role model I got to follow. So I was pretty lucky to have you in the family.
Feisty family we are. Okay. Thanks, Jackie.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Perfect. In conclusion, gay-straight alliances help LGBT students succeed academically. Students go to school to learn, and helping them to do so is a school's job. Therefore, if the studies show that GSAs do indeed help students to learn by making them feel more safe, reinforcing them, and reducing the amount of hateful remarks they get, then it's the school's job to ensure that they exist on their campuses. There's some great organizations doing substantial work with GSAs. GLSEN, GLSEN in the US, EGAL, Canada, Human Rights Trust here in Canada, and you can find links to these organizations in the description below this video. Thank you, and please remember to like and subscribe.